And welcome to another episode of Zav's Takes. I'm Zav, and today we're diving into one of the most radioactive topics out there, the Epstein List, and should it be released to the public? Before we go any further, let's ground this conversation in what we actually know. These are the people who faced criminal accusations in connection with Jeffrey Epstein and what ultimately happened in each case. First, let's start with Prince Andrew of the royal family. Virginia Giuffre accused him of abusing her when she was 17. He denied it, but in 2022, he settled out of court for a reported 12 million pounds with no admission of guilt. Alan Dershowitz, the Harvard law professor, was also accused by Giuffre. They both dropped their lawsuits in 2022, and she later said she may have been mistaken. Jean-Luc Brunel, a French modeling agent and Epstein associate, was accused by multiple women of sexual trafficking. He was arrested in 2020, but found dead in his jail cell in 2022 before trial. Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's longtime partner, was convicted in 2021 of sex trafficking and sentenced to 20 years in prison. And finally, Jeffrey Epstein. Dozens of women accused him of abuse, sexual abuse. He pled guilty to reduced charges in 2008, was arrested again in 2019 on federal trafficking charges, and died in jail before he could stand trial. So that is what we as a public know in regards to criminal accusations by victims related to Epstein. Now, let's get to the Epstein list. Epstein was first convicted in 2008. Before that, before it was known publicly what a creep he was, in the 1990s, he was a major socialite and was in that elite New York City social culture. And for these people, New York is an event city. That means, let's say they don't really care about the Met Museum. You'll see them anyway at the Met Gala. You'll probably see them in a couple months at the US Open. Okay, these are the people who go to the big parties. Think about Michael Rubin's 4th of July party in the Hamptons where everyone's dressed in all white. So the point is in the 1990s, Epstein was one of these guys. He had a 40-room townhouse in the Upper East Side where he threw big parties. He socialized with a lot of well-known actors, singers, business people, etc. And I know for a fact that the FBI did a deep dive into Epstein, and they have records of all his contacts, who he partied with, who he dined with, who traveled with him, etc. And I know if an Epstein list comes out, it's going to be red meat for social media, the public, mob mentality. However, it's going to ruin the lives of a lot of people who in the 90s were just celebrities or extremely wealthy and were part of the New York City elite social circle. Now, does that mean some of these people are guilty of sexual crimes? Maybe, maybe not. Listen, I read to you at the top of this episode all those who have been implicated in trafficking or assault. If there is evidence that the FBI has that for whatever reason has not been released in the nearly 6 years since Epstein died, obviously that should have already been released. No one wants to protect someone who abused a minor. It could be Trump, Clinton, your favorite actor, anyone. People want abusers in jail. But if what we're calling the Epstein list ends up being nothing more than a list of people who were socially or professionally associated with Epstein without any evidence of criminal behavior, I think that's unjust. In today's climate, just having your name connected to the words Epstein list can be enough to destroy your reputation, regardless of the facts. And that's the danger here. We risk turning a social circle from the 1990s into a public hit list. That's it for tonight. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.